this self-writing journaling practice became a way to you could use it in two different ways. You could just use it like I had initially to just purge everything that's on your mind, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think what really drew me to it, Lorraine, when you had introduced it, was the idea of like, there's no rules, like you can just unleash whatever's in there. And I took that to heart, and I was like just really raw in what I was feeling. And very quickly you almost start to laugh. You're like, oh, this is hilarious. Like this is so like childish in a way, like all these emotions coming up. It's like, oh, it's hilarious when you actually take something out of the mind and put it on paper or speak the words. How very quickly you can get past these superficial emotions and into what's really happening. And so when we use the GROW model, so goal, reality, obstacles, options, and way forward, it's a way for you to journal and self-coach. Because sometimes you're dealing with something that you're not quite ready to talk to somebody about, or you don't have the right person to talk to somebody about. Your walking partner that you'd normally vent to, your girlfriends, your partner, they're not always available, and you don't always want to, download or dump to them. So journaling becomes a way to really just get out everything in there and get to this point of clarity. So oftentimes, I know like last year I was dealing with two coworkers who just could not get along, and they both reported to me. So this was my kind of leadership question, is like, how am I going to lead these two through that? And I journaled a lot on this situation, and what helped me was going back to GROW and saying, well, what do I want to have happen here? Like, if we go to future state and everything's great, what does that even look like? And just by looking at the goal, started to kind of create the future state of, oh, actually, there's some opportunities here that I've been overlooking. And then what's getting in the way? And then what are the options going? So, actually, here's like future state of where I want it to go. And even sometimes just crafting that out of what that future state looks like, that's when the positive emotions start to come. So you're like, oh, there's possibilities here, and that future looks great. So I'm feeling positive, I'm feeling motivated to get there. Now what's the reality? Oh, okay, we're stuck here, but now I've clearly identified the gap between what's real and what's happening in the moment to where the ideal state is. And that's even to just map out there those 2 points can give you a lot of clarity. And then from there, the options to kind of close that gap. And at that point, sometimes I'll work through that myself, but sometimes that's when I'll actually take it to the team and say, okay, this is where we want to get to, and here's where we're at today. What do we